So, welcome to Unity Center of Peace. Today is Labor Day Sunday. My name is Mary Shapiro, and I'm going to read our opening prayer from something called God Calling. So, this is a book like first person, someone heard God and wrote down the words that she heard. Let me do it. That's God speaking. Never miss these times. Forces are set in motion. My will is coming to pass. I am blessing you very richly. It is not passionate appeal that gains the divine ear so much as the quiet placing of the difficulty and the worry in the divine hands. So trust, 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 and be no more afraid than a child would be who places its tangled skein of wool in the hands of a loving mother and runs out to play, pleasing the mother more by its unquestioning confidence than if it went down on its knees and implored her help, which would pain her the rather, as it would imply she was not eager to help when help is needed. Trust, trust, trust. We are gathered here today to do a sacred thing, to sing, 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 to sing, 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 to sing, sing, sing. It says in the Bible somewhere that those who sing pray times two. And whenever the angels show up, that's just what they do. For we are gathered here today to do a sacred thing, to sing, 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 sing. It says in the Bible somewhere to stop what you're doing and pray, to listen with your heart, listen with your mind, to pause and listen every day. 'Cause we are gathered here today to do a sacred thing, to listen, listen, listen. It says in the Bible more than anything else, be not afraid and trust. Like a gardener planting seeds, a potter firing clay, let it be and learn to love. 'Cause we are gathered here today to do a sacred thing, to trust, 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 trust in God. So thank you for that very much. Beautiful reading about ease. I'm going to sing a song, and then I'm going to talk about trust. In God we trust. And I'd like you to be thinking yourself about what trust is. How would you define it? Who is someone that you trust? And perhaps a time when trust was broken for you. So here's my opening song for if not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. We may never see this moment to place and time again. 'Cause if not now, tell me when. 'cause I see sorrow and trouble in this land. Oh, I see sorrow and trouble in this land. Although there will be struggle, we'll make the change we can. 'Cause if not now, tell me when. 'Cause if not now, tell me when. 'Cause if not now, tell me when. We may never see this moment in place of time again. 'Cause if not now, tell me when. And I may never see the promised land. Oh, I may never see the promised land. And yet we'll take the journey and we'll walk it hand in hand. 'Cause if not now, tell me when. We'll work it till it's done. Every daughter, every son, every soul that's ever longed for something better, something brighter. And it will take a change of heart for this to mend. Oh, it will take a change of heart for this to mend. But miracles do happen every shining now and then. 'Cause if not now, tell me when. 'Cause if not now, tell me when. If not now, tell me when. We may never see this moment or place of time again. And if not now, tell me when. And miracles do happen every shining now and then. And if not now, tell me when. So that's a Carrie Newcomer song. And I know Mel recognized it. She sings it with me in the Remedies. And I'm moved to tears because miracles are happening all around us every day. And to me today, just this opportunity to speak to you. One of the readings I'm going to share with you later is from Carrie Newcomer, and she posted it this morning. So I consider those little coincidences miracles. At the beginning of the year, I choose a word. And the word for me this year was trust, continues to be trust. And so I made a little collage. This is my trust box. I hope you can see it. It has champagne bubbles. It has a Woodstock Forever stamp. It's a forever stamp, right? So that's worth 58 cents, and I could pull it off and hopefully mail something today, even if it's worth 65. It has some phrases. Make time, make peace, make change, make love, and make sure that you're worth it. On the side, once you know, you'll never forget, with a celebrate stamp. And on the back, live your best life. In Mojave, our words for want and need are the same, because why would you want what you don't need? Inside the box. Da, 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 da. I hope you guys can see this. Is a happy dancing frog. My dad was into frogs. Is the gift of health, consciousness, some more dogs which bring me joy, and the word trust. I sure hope you can see this. It's in red sparkly things, and under trust is a bunch of money. A bunch of money. It's all folded to say, in God we trust. So I don't know, that could be a $100 bill, that could be a $1 bill. In God we trust. In God we trust. Oh, this one you know what it is because it says one. In God we trust. One. Because we're one in God, right? In God we trust. In God we trust. So in God we trust is, as you know, the motto, E pluribus unum, is the motto for us here in the United States. And it wasn't the motto until the war for the Battle of the States. Were we going to stay together or separate? And the North wanted God on their side. So they coined a bunch of money that said, in God we trust. Before that war, you won't find in God we trust on the money. Just a little observation. So my question for you, sorry about the dog. In God we trust. In God. So what is God for you? First of all, is the statement true or not? In God we trust. I'm going to change it to in God I trust because I personally don't like to claim what everybody else trusts in. It's not the way I roll. In God I trust. Yes. What is God to me? God is great divine, good orderly direction. That's God. God is love. And anyone who can agree with the statement, God is love, then I'm with them. I would add them to in God we trust. What is trust? Oof, that's the big question, right? So this has been worked on for a lot of people. Stephen Covey has a new book called The Speed of Trust. And in it, he talks about flow. It's pretty cool if you want to check it out. But he talks about the 5 different levels of trust. And the first one, and I think we can all agree with this, and unity principles would definitely agree with this, is to go inside. I'm the center of the circle of trust. And if I don't have trust or confidence in myself or in my God, in those things, it's going to be really hard for me to go to the next circle of relationship and trust someone else. And then he moves on, excuse me, to the market and the economy, because he's a businessman. But the center of trusting yourself is the first step. I asked some other people about their favorite things and what trust means to them, and I got a lot of people who quoted the Bible. Those who trust in the Lord for help will find their strength renewed. They will rise on wings like eagles. They will run and not get weary. They will walk and not grow weak. Those who trust in the Lord. That's from the Hebrew Scriptures, Isaiah. Where's the other biblical one? I'll just read some other of these. This is from Anonymous, a very famous person. Some suggestions for fasting and feasting. Fast from discontent. Feast on thankfulness. Fast from worry. Feast on trust. Finley Peter Dunn said, trust everybody, but cut the cards. And there's a Arabic saying as far as trust in God and tie your camel. Those who trust us educate us. Those who trust us teach us. And that was from T.S. Eliot. And another one of my favorites, E.E. Cummings, said, we do not believe in ourselves until someone reveals that deep inside us, something is valuable. Something is worth listening to. Something is worthy of our trust and sacred to our touch. That trusting first in ourselves. And E.E. Cummings says, it helps when we're in relationship and others trust us. One of my favorite people is Brené Brown. I'm not sure if you're familiar with her, but she has done a lot of research on vulnerability, and she does a lot of teaching. She has a group called Dare to Lead, and I'm going to see if I can screen share. Just a second, sorry. Waiting on it. On her talk about trust and vulnerability. And trusting, to her, says that she comes up with the whiteboard, iPhone, desktop, I want everything, sorry, with an acronym called BRAVING. And here it is. So BRAVING. So see if this is true for you. In order to trust, she says, the anatomy of trust, how trust is built, literally, physically. You start with B, and you have to know what your boundaries are with the other person. I trust you if you're clear about your boundaries and you hold firm to them, and you're clear about my boundaries. So this is relationship. This is Stephen Covey's second level. R stands for reliability. You do what you say you're going to do. Not only are the boundaries clear, but those boundaries help us to say no, and so we don't offer too much, and we're able to deliver, right? How many times has trust been broken because somebody said they would do something and they were not reliable? B is boundaries, R, reliability, A, accountability. I can only trust you if you're willing to own your own mistakes. I like the A for apologize as well and make amends, right? So if that trust relationship has been broken, how can it get back together? Apologies, making amends, right? And I can do that too. B is boundaries, R is reliability, A is accountability, V is the vault, right? You tell me something, I'm not going to spread gossip all over the world. You told that to me. That's our relationship. That's personal. It's secure. Here's the sign language for trust. Trust. You're holding on to something. It is secure. That's the vault. Boundaries, reliability, accountability, vault. I is integrity. I choose courage over comfort. I choose what's right over what's fun or fast or easy. And I practice, not just profess, my values. And when you do that too, I can trust you. Boundaries, reliability, accountability, a vault, integrity, non-judgment. I can be weak, I can fall apart, I can ask you for help, I can be in struggle, and you're not going to judge me. That lets me trust you. You can do the same for me. It's two directions. She talked more about that. That, oh yeah, I can trust you, but you can't trust me. Not okay. The last one is generosity. And I need to move this so I can see it. Generosity. You extend the most generous interpretation possible to my words, intentions, and behaviors, and you check in. You don't just assume. A personal example of this is like, oh man, it was the anniversary of my mom's death. And I was having a real hard time. And I knew that my friend knew it was the anniversary of my mom's death. And she didn't call me to check in. So instead of when she finally did call me, instead of going, you missed the date, I tried to be generous and say, hey, thank you for remembering. What was going on for you that day? So braving, in order to trust someone, I need to be brave. I need to have boundaries and reliability, accountability, a strong vault, right? That's the trust itself. Integrity, non-judgment, and to be generous with my words and my time and my understanding. of where that person is coming from. And hopefully they'll do the same for me. So we're going to take that trust and go into a very short meditation, because I think we started a little bit late. I'm going to lead us into meditation with just a word on trust and flow. With trust, there is also hope. And hope is sometimes something very different from our hopes. Our hopes are always something we can imagine, but hope in the spiritual sense is an openness for surprise and for that which you cannot imagine, and to trust that all shall be and all is well. Ding. All is well. All is well. All manner of things are well, and all shall be well. All shall be well. All manner of things shall be well. Amen. Thank you. If you would like to raise your hand and tell me your thoughts or reflections on trust, I would love to hear them.
So this is Melanie.
Miss Melanie.
Good morning. That was lovely, Mary. Thank you so much. The first thing that comes to me, reflections about trust, is that sometimes the hardest thing is to trust oneself, to have faith in oneself and being capable of stepping forward into whatever it is that we're meant to be and learn, and, having the courage and the faith to step into our fullness. And, it's not in God we doubt, it's in ourselves sometimes that we have the hardest, the hardest obstacle to overcome. So I think that's just another angle. No conclusions, only questions.
That was beautiful. I wrote that down. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Miss Patty, yes, please.
That meant a lot to me, Melanie, that you said that when I was thinking of it the whole time. I loved being in that space, Mary. Thank you so much. I loved hearing the sounds of nature in your yard because I love the sounds of nature in my yard. But also what Melanie said about trusting self. I was starting a project yesterday and I got everything out and I said, am I really up to this project? And can I get it finished in one day? Not that there was any body saying I had to finish it yesterday, but it's nice to be able to get everything out, finish the project, put everything away. That's what I like to do. But I had that self-doubt, and so the trust in self is something that I constantly work with. And people go, well, you did this and look at your life and all that. And, you still have those same vulnerable self-doubts, and it doesn't seem to go away, except that you seem to be able to process it maybe a little quicker, a little better, maybe. So I finished the project, and I was very, very satisfied and grateful that I was able to just plow in there and starting is half done. So I said, if I keep putting one foot in front of the other and get everything out, it'll all work out. So it did. I'll show you a piece of it if you'd like to see it. I don't know if you want to see it, but yes.
Sure, go ahead. Yes,
Okay.
please. We're all nodding, not just me. As she's going, I'm going to make a comment. I think you can still hear me, Patty, that
Yes.
it's one of the reasons I love that E.E. Cummings quote, as far as we do not believe in ourselves until someone reveals
Yes.
deep inside us that's something. And so when I get in those places of not trusting, of doubting myself, I sometimes try to remember to call an accountability buddy, somebody I trust that can encourage me, put the courage in me.
Awesome.
So thank you. Can we see it, please?
Yes, this was inspired by my granddaughter who painted our mailbox many years ago when she was under so much stress, and her life is so amazing now, like a miracle. And so I wanted to duplicate some of her art, but I had to get a new mailbox. So this is a la Emily, but this is, I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, nice.
And now this is the other side. Wait a minute.
In case you couldn't see it, it says be colorful and inspire.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that is so gorgeous.
And
There
then
are
on the
beautiful
front, it
flowers.
said, when the mailman opens it, it's
Always be
and then when he
happy.
actually opens the door, there's a butterfly painted inside.
Hey, Patty, can I see the second side again? I didn't get to see it.
The second
The side
side.
with the flowers,
Oh, the
please.
butterfly. Oh, cool.
I did
That's so
not
beautiful.
paint the butterfly. I tried
you.
4 times, and I just put a sticker of a butterfly and hope it
It looks
Perfect.
great. It's beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
So
I'm so
I was
glad you
so
shared it.
scared. I said, am I going to be able to do this again? I had done it many months ago before the old one broke, but I really had a lot of self-doubt. So this talk today is wonderful.
Thank you so much. I didn't know you were so gifted in the arts as well as in the. So, Miss Laura, did you have your hand up? No, I'm sorry. Okay, Jody, Zach, I don't know which one is going to talk.
Okay. All right. 2 things I thought of. The first thing, when you were talking about trusting yourself, I, believe it or not, was a person that didn't talk in front of more than one person for most of my life. My mom used to say, when she got my little report cards in back in the 50s, it'd say, Jody does good on her work, but she hasn't said anything yet. That would be the way. And so I took jobs where I spoke with one person, counseling and that sort of thing. And then one day my job changed, and I was, when I was doing probation work, one-on-one all the time, just one-on-one. Then they said, oh, you're going to have to start going to court every Friday because they've added a new thing to you. And all of a sudden I thought, oh, that's something I could never do. I couldn't trust myself. I panicked. I was nervous, and then found out that it wasn't a big deal. And then that totally, once I started trusting myself, I totally changed what I did from that point on. I did teaching,
my entire homeschooling career.
Yeah, did homeschooling with Zach, but I brought other kids and stuff in. But I did teaching in different schools in Montessori and different places. And from little kids on up, I did programs at church. I did, and I felt so good about it, because I think that's what I really was designed to do. But I could never do that because I didn't trust myself enough. and maybe I didn't have the experience. But anyway, that was just something you made me think of, that how trusting myself really changed to where of things that I'm now so comfortable with. The other thing is, you made me think of my father. He's been gone, maybe
4 years.
4 years now. He used to say, you trust everybody, unless it's dangerous. You always trust what people say. And he said, unless you think you're going to get hurt, or you think you don't have, somebody doesn't have to earn your trust. You start trust, you just trust everybody. And then they can do something to make you no longer trust them, but you don't start out making them prove themselves to you. And he got burned a few times. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he said, I'd rather get burned. He used to always say, I'd rather give money to everybody on the street, thinking, and maybe only one person needed it, and everybody else was some kind of scam person, whatever. But he said that trust is just so important, because then you feel better about yourself. If you feel like you've got to figure out this person before you can do that. So you made me think about him this morning, and I appreciate that. Thank you for your talk.
Unmute. Thank you so much for sharing that, because I mean, this is a unity service, right? And we believe in the oneness. And so what your dad said, as far as he'd rather give to everyone, he's really giving to himself and trusting himself and practicing that trust. And the other thing that happened is as you were sharing about him, hummingbird showed up, and a hummingbird is my mom's animal, and she passed 6 years ago. So I don't know what your beliefs are, but I believe that in the power of our loved ones.
Also his wife.
Yeah, my mother, who's now passed, hummingbird was her favorite. She'd sit out there and just watch them and watch.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, she was listening right here, right now.
She
right
was
there.
saying, yeah, she was agreeing with what I was saying about her husband, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Neal, go ahead.
Well, first I have to unmute, which is hard for me to do. As most of you know, your title was In God We Trust. And in reading the Bible and scripture and listening to a lot of evangelists, we're told to, one of the first things you do when you pray or if something happens is to be thankful for the challenge, which is the hardest thing to do as step one, asking to go safely through it. So that's initial trusting thing in itself. And God has humbled me many times, especially with public speaking, where I pray for, get me out of here now, Scotty, please, I need to be beamed up this nanosecond. I cannot take another, I'm just like bombing or whatever. But it was all those things that I've experienced, the humbling, the just thrown to my knees, that really has made me, and I've seen, helped millions of people become who they are today, is trusting, going through the storm. And the biggest thing for me now in trust is learning In God We Trust. I mean, I have several things that icons and memes that I put up, and things that say trust in God. I mean, it's still on our money, and some license plates, like in mine, In God We Trust. But I don't live it like I would like to believe it, with everything going on, as we hear all the time. All right, God, when are you going to intervene? Or why are we seeing this? Or why is this happening to me? And that's the thing that I am working on right now. Not just a daily trust, but an hour by hour trust. I think I trust in myself, and I'm still learning how to do that, and what God wants me to do, and my, I don't know, my job on the planet, on this rock at this time. But that's the most difficult thing for me, is trusting in God with his plan or her plan right now. It's an ongoing challenge. It's an ongoing lesson, and it's not easy being green. So that's my 9 cents worth.
Thank you. I would say that was worth at least $1. And who knows which one? It might have been the $100 bill in God We Trust.
Yeah,
So,
I just trust that you're going to put all the money back in the box before the birds show up and that eagle tries to grab some of it.
right.
And I also trust that Patty is going to make the mailman smile.
Oh my gosh. Everybody who sees that'll smile, Miss
You
Patty.
should have a little camera inside in the back.
That would be cool.
So when he bends down or whatever, he sees that, you can see him smile and record his reaction.
Thanks. I want to be respectful of time, and I know it's 11:02. So just to let people know, were there other people that wanted to speak? And thank you again,
Yeah.
Neil.
Yeah, I'm just a second. Yeah, I was thinking about the whole trust thing, and I think for me, trusting my intuition has been, right there. I'll dismiss it so many times. Just I'll have that intuitive feeling, and then I'll kind of let it fly by, and then 5 minutes later, well, I should have listened. And so that's what that's what came up when you were talking about trust. Being connected and to our intuition, which I believe, if you got a deep enough connection, I think is divine and divinely ordained. So anyway, that's my thoughts.
Thank you, Frank. Yeah, back to that braving with the anatomy of trust, man. To know and to be able to trust takes integrity and non-judgment of yourself, right? And to just say, okay, well, next time I get that, maybe I'll just go with it and take a risk and keep trying, right? Thank you so much for your thoughts. Anyone else today?
May I offer one more thing?
Of course.
Something that Neil said just made me think about this morning. I have these cards. I think of them as like spirit cards. You like pick one to, get wisdom in a moment. And the card that I chose this morning is courage. And I'm going to try to show you the picture of it. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's a little wildflower that's growing in the crack of a rock.
It's beautiful. Yes.
And if I could just, could I just read this short paragraph about the
Sure.
wildflower? It says, this card shows a small wildflower that has met the challenge of the rocks and stones. And if I didn't say it, the word is courage. The card shows a small wildflower that has met the challenge of the rocks and stones in its path to emerge into the light of day. Surrounded by an aura of bright golden light, it exposes the majesty of its tiny self. Unashamed, it is equal to the brightest sun. When we are faced with a very difficult situation, we have a choice. We can either be resentful and try to find somebody or something to blame for the hardships, or we can face the challenge and grow. The flower shows us the way, as its passion for life leads it out of the darkness and into the light. There's no point fighting against the challenges of life or trying to avoid or deny them. They are there, and if the seed is to become the flower, we must go through them. Be courageous enough to grow into the flower you are meant to be. And this whole discussion on trust and, faith in oneself and, all of these comments just really made me feel strongly like this is a message sometimes that we all need to hear. We need to be able to give to ourselves to go through it, and because it's just a part of being human, a part of being alive.
Beautiful. It fits so perfectly. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you all. Let's take a deep breath. I'm going to sing the blessing song, and then I think our time will be up. Thank you again so much. Oh, I was going to share the Carrie Newcomer talk because it looks like we've got just enough for that. She talks about an overlapping of seasons right now. And can you remember a time when you felt of spirit in the physical world, an overlapping in time of life, and overlapping with deep challenges and high joys? Blue heron, which is my spirit bird. Blue heron glides the barest breath above an unbroken surface of a running lake. A clear reverse in itself. Wing beat, matching wing beat. A perfect, unwavering reflection of itself. Wonder is the same as it has been, as we limited and limitless souls live in this mysterious side-by-side world where the seen and the unseen meet and ever so briefly touch. Press palms, and where the telling of a story and the story itself overlap. Not unlike the way spirit and melody of a singular song is carried away in the beating and winged heart of the listener. Love go before you, leave peace behind you. Send angels to guide you on your left and your right. Great Father above you, gentle Mother below you, will teach you and show you the sacred in all. 'Cause if you see with God's eyes, hear with his ears, when you touch with God's hands, she will calm all your fears. Open your heart, help your mind understand the sacred in all. So God go before you, leave peace behind you. Send the angels to guide you on your left and your right. Great Father above you, gentle Mother below you, will teach you and show you the sacred in all. Will teach you and show you the sacred in all. May the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, guard our hearts and minds in Christ and in love. Amen. And Neil, the final blessing, please. And those of us who know it.
The prayer of protection. But also I'd like to offer before that the affirmations for love orbits and ties. Divine love flowing through us blesses and multiplies all that we are, all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. And our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
All is well. Thank you.